Teen Advisory Council. I loved this group. It's something that was very close to home, literally and metaphorically. Almost all of the students that were in this group go to Mount Vernon High School. There are some from like the Career Center and from surrounding schools, but that's where I went to school. And I think, growing up in a small town, there, a lot of the stereotypes definitely stand up. Unfortunately, just a lot of conservative viewpoints and a lot of, not like, we never talked about mental health in school, like, ever. Like, guidance counselors helped you with college, maybe, and that was it. Like, no one talked about mental health. There was no, like, initiatives to discuss what people were going through. Like, a lot of people that were gay or queer, like, were not out in high school because it was, like, dangerous to be out. And I think a lot of those things still hold true in Mount Vernon. But, like, I think they've gotten better, and I think a lot of that is because of this group and the work that they're doing. Lindsay is amazing at leading them. She's super open with them, really values their opinions. I mean, she's like a partner to them. It's not like she's like the overseer of this program and like tells them what to do. Like, she really works with the teens, and they are so passionate about all of the issues of mental health, of teen dating violence, of drug use, of just anything mental health related. And so I think, like, just hearing them talk about how they're being leaders in their school and how they're, like, kind of working on getting toxic behavior out of high school, because, like, they were talking about when they were underclassmen, like, a lot of the upperclassmen especially were kind of perpetuating these stereotypes and these kind of toxic behaviors and bullying and all this stuff. And they're like, now that they're in the position of being upperclassmen, they are like doing the opposite, and they're trying to like teach that kind behavior and like just talking about mental health, talking about being supportive of each other. They do like campaigns where they put up posters with facts about mental health, where they like make videos, they do podcasts where they actually talk about these issues and they talk about their experiences, about experience of their friends, their classmates. So it was just super inspiring to see that, because like, they're only teenagers and they're already doing so much for their community. And like, that was just not a thing when I was in high school. So to see that and to hear just about how they're already making a difference is really awesome. I mean, it was amazing. I think, like, that's why WAVE exists. That's why we all, do what we do, did what we did, is, like, seeing people be able to express themselves creatively and, like, as a group, as a community is just so powerful. And some of them were musicians, like Maya plays violin, Brooklyn plays French horn. They're both on the song in the beginning. But like, none of them are like, oh, I want to be a professional musician when they grow up. But they all care about music. Like, in our first session, like, they talked, we just talked about, like, what music do you listen to? Like, why do you listen to it? And they just had so many opinions and so many things that they loved. And I think, like, that's a way that they all, like, processed, like, their lives every day. That wasn't something like, oh, yeah, I should use music to think about my feelings. It's like they're already doing that. I think, a lot of people do that and maybe aren't necessarily thinking about it that way. But it, just, I feel like a lot of them parallel, like, my view about music, and that it's just, like, I use it to, like, work through certain experiences or just to kind of motivate me, just, like, basically use it for all of those things. And so I think, like, they already are very creative. A lot of them, like, write already. Like, they're all really good students. They care about school. They care about supporting each other. So I think, like, we never really had to have much of a conversation of, like, this is what a song looks like. This is, like, what creating a song looks like. They just, like, were so passionate already about what they wanted to create and what message they wanted to send that it was just, like, honestly, like, every session was just, like, a conversation. And we always went over because we were just, like, having fun talking to each other. And I think it was just, like, nice mutually for us to, like, vent about our experiences and how hard it was or is for them in a lot of ways, like, growing up in that kind of environment. And yeah, like, seeing them in the studio, like, that's kind of why I went with them. I think they were shy about singing, but they just got so into it. They loved the song. Like, they freaked out when Dom played the demo. Like, they were just so into it. Like, they didn't even want to change anything. They have the chance to, like, make changes and they just freaked out. Like, and I think Dom, like, did such an amazing job of, like, again, like, it was the same thing where we just basically had a conversation with him. Like, he just meshed so well with the group, and, we just had a very, like, organic, natural conversation that, again, went way over time because everyone was just so into it, and I think he just gleaned, like, such subtle facts and subtle lyrics from the conversation, and, like, it was so exciting, like, the first time we listened through the demo, where someone would be like, oh, like, I mentioned, like, looking at the moon, or, like, I mentioned this, or they're like, oh, like, Brooklyn, that's your lyric, or, like, Maya, like, you said that, and it was just cool for them to, like, on first listen, be able to, like, pull out those pieces that they, like, felt so seen and represented already. So, like, it's crazy, because maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I don't think he even writes these things down. I'm someone, like, I have to write it down or I will 150% forget it. Even if it's, like, impactful, like, my brain cannot handle it. So, like, I have to write stuff down. And he was just, like, he was so engaged, and just listening. And then, like, he puts this on together and I hear, like, 50 different things that we talked about. And I'm like, you literally didn't write anything down. Like, how are you able to do that? It's incredible. But he's able to be, like, so present and he's just, like, a sponge, Yeah, I mean, I think music is just such an incredible tool, and art, like visual art as well, because I think it can just unite so many people from so many different backgrounds, and I think it's just such a good release. Like, yeah, I don't know, and I think, like, just the action of, like, working together on something, and I mean, in this group, like, the kids had a lot in common. They had a lot of shared experiences. But I think sometimes it's such a powerful way to, like, unite people that don't necessarily on the surface have the same values or the same experiences, and through music and through feeling and through just, like, really, I don't know, catering to your senses in a way that it's just, like, there's so much that connects us as human beings, and I think, like, music and art is a really incredible way to, like, realize that and to bridge gaps where maybe, it is harder to have those conversations. I think this group was really special because they were, like, so open with me from the start. But, like, even so, we were still getting to know each other, and I think the more we talked about music, the more we talked about art. Like, when Dom came in, when Tehran came in, I mean, it was just, like, they were so excited and so eager to share, and that was just, like, a really beautiful way to connect with them. So Tehran is awesome. He's a coworker of mine and, like, a good friend, and he also is just so incredible with people. He just is, like, very natural with them. And, it's the same thing. I think he was supposed to have, like, an hour with us, and we talked for, like, 2 hours. And then, like, only stopped because, like, the other, group was coming in. But, like, it was just really cool because most of them, like, some of them had music background, but I don't think most of them are, like, visual artists. And they just had, like, they were just so excited to have a say in the visual art, too. And I think, like, Tron did a really good job of making it, like, super accessible, and that he was like, what colors do you want to use? Like, what do you see? Like, so we listened to the music as a group with Tehran, just to kind of start spitballing and start brainstorming. And he's like, what colors do you see? Like, when you hear this song, like, what feelings do you want to come through? Like, what do you want people? So it was, like, I think really incredible because, like, the visual art, like with most of Wave songs, I think the visual art totally stands on its own as a piece that represents the groups that we work with, but also, like, simultaneously just works so incredibly well with the song that I, like, can't imagine any other artwork, like, accompanying, the song. And I think the first time the group saw the artwork was when they put that together, that celebration, like, after all of our workshops, had happened, and they just, like, freaked out when they saw it, because it was kind of the same thing as when they first heard the song, where they, like, saw things that Tehran had, like, talked with them about, like, colors they wanted to use, or, like, certain imagery, and, like, he brought it to life in this really incredible way, and they were like, oh, like, he listened to me, like, I had a part of that, like, yeah, I didn't, like, physically create this artwork, but, like, my voice is represented in that album cover, and that was really cool to see.